Israel-Iran. Plunge into Middle East war. Commentators dismissed Iran's drone and missile attack on Israel last month as a display of might that betrayed weakness. That misinterprets complex, turbulent dynamics. After some of the tensest days in the Middle East since the Gaza war last October, Iran and Israel finally traded blows but avoided significant damage, ending a series of tit-for-tat exchanges that threatened to escalate into a regional war. The three-stage sequence began on April 1 when Israel bombed Iran's Damascus consulate. This attack killed several Revolutionary Guards supporting Tehran's regional allies militarily and logistically. Iranian drones and missiles launched Operation True Promise on the night of 13 to 14 April, but Israeli anti-air defenses with support from the US, France, and the UK intercepted most of them. Iranian officials provided the US and Israel many hours warning before this counterattack, which Israel and the West called a defeat. Iran chose not to strike urban or economic centers to spare civilian casualties. The Iranian statement added the case can be declared concluded. The world anxiously awaited the counter-response to the attack, an Al Jazeera commentator said on April 16. Israeli drones attacked an airbase in Isfahan at daybreak on Friday, April 18. This symbolic attack on Iran's uranium enrichment program's Natanz nuclear plant in the province caused negligible damage. Guillaume Ancel, a writer and former French soldier, offered a de-escalatory approach. The situation may not end there. War looms between Israel and Iran. Hasbara, Israel's war spin. UK, politicians out of touch with public on Gaza. Madrid, destination for super-rich Latin Americans. Electoral gains for Portugal's far-right. DRC, a failed state plagued by poverty and corruption. Bassirou Diomaye Faye's surprise election may restore democracy in Senegal. India on TV. Paris Olympics, only for the elite, or will they require runners? Highways are now expensive but formerly exciting. The Islamic Republic has always promoted its ideas using superlatives in its towns and walls. After 2 weeks of drone attacks on Israel, Tehran's streets are still full of posters and billboards hailing the country's victory against their sworn enemy. The world's largest missile attacks on Israel and Iran's definitive and devastating response to the occupiers are popular slogans. The Basij, a paramilitary volunteer militia under the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, IRGC, the regime's ideological military force, held victory celebrations and demonstrations in Tehran, Karaj, Mashhad, and Isfahan after the April 13, 14 attack. However, the Iranian and Palestinian flags and megaphone slogans have not changed Iranians' disapproval of the conflict. The attack's lack of victims relieves Iran's opponents, who feared retribution and an open conflict that may affect the economy and their daily lives. The authorities regard their operation as a success, but there's nothing to rejoice about, Parmiz Roshan said while drinking coffee with her boyfriend in downtown Tehran near a pro-government demonstration. Her flowing hair and colorful attire make the 22-year-old Tehrani bewildered by regime supporters' war fever. Government and supporters' attitudes confuse me. She thought war and bloodshed worsened things. We pledged retaliation. A young woman in a black chatter distributed candy nearby. Motaher Hassianzadeh and her husband now back Hamas and the IRGC. The time for the downfall of Israel has now come, she says. This is Iran's power. I applaud our leader and believers. The IRGC commanders agree with her that Israel is a real threat in interviews. The Zionist system was already loathed around the world and is even more so since the resistance, supported by the Islamic Republic, stunned the whole world, said Isfahan Province IRGC commander Mojtaba Fada in a state television interview.